Vrindaye Tulsidevyaye Priyaye Krishna Vishnu Bhakti Pradevi Satyavachaya Namo Namaha Vrindaye Tulsidevyaye Priyaye Krishna Vishnu Bhakti Pradevi Satyavachaya Namo Namaha
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada So this is, we're reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila 24, explanation of the Atmarama verse, text 280. So this is my favorite class because all I have to do is read Srila Prabhupada's transcendental purports and the verses thereof. I beg the mercy of all the Vaishnavas and Srila Prabhupada that the right words might come at the right time and that I can glorify Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through the wonderful translation and purports by His Divine Loving Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So we're reading from Madhya Lila 24, explanation of the Atmarama verse, text number 280. I'm just going to read the English, so please bear with me and forgive me for any offenses. The former hunter said, "Please, do not send so much grain. Only send what is sufficient for 2 people, no more." So some of you may be knowing this is the hunter that Parvat Muni was instructing after the hunter surrendered to the process of Krishna consciousness. Purport. The former hunter only wanted enough food for 2 people to eat, no more. It is not necessary for a Vaishnava to keep a stock of food for the next day. He should receive only sufficient grain to last 1 day. The next day, he must again depend on the Lord's mercy. This is the instruction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When his personal servant Govinda sometimes kept a stock of haritaki, Miro Balin. I don't know really what that is. Does anybody? Haritaki. Okay, must be some food. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chastised him, saying, "Why did you keep a stock of for next day?" Srila Rupa Goswami and others were begging daily from door to door for their sustenance, and they never attempted to stock their ashram with food for the next day. We should materially calculate, thinking it is better to stock food for a week. Why give the Lord trouble by having him bring food daily? One should be convinced that the Lord will provide daily. There is no need to stock food for the next day. Text 28. Narada Muni approved his not wanting more than a daily supply of food, and he blessed him, saying, "You are fortunate." Narada Muni and Parvat Muni then disappeared from that place. Thus I have narrated the incident of the hunter. By hearing this narration, one can understand the influence of association with devotees. Thus I have narrated the incident of the hunter. By hearing this, one can understand the influence of the association with devotees. Very important. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to stress that even a hunter, the lowest of men, could become a topmost Vaishnava simply by associating with Narada Muni or a devotee in his bona fide disciplic succession. In this way, we have found 3 more meanings of the Atmarama verse. Combine these with the other meanings, and the total number of meanings adds up to 26 in all. There is yet another meaning, which is full of a variety of imports. Actually, there are 2 gross meanings and 32 subtle meanings. Purport. The 2 gross meanings refer to regular devotional service and spontaneous devotional service. There are also 32 subtle meanings. Under the heading of regulative devotional service, there are 16 meanings based on the understanding of the word Atmarama to mean 1, a servant of the Lord as his personal associate, 2, a personal friend, 3, personal parents or similar superiors, 4, a personal beloved, 5, a servant elevated by spiritual cultivation, 6, a friend by spiritual cultivation. 7, parents and superior devotees by cultivation of devotional service. 8, a beloved wife or female friend by cultivation of devotional service. 9, a mature devotee as a servant. 10, a mature devotee as a friend. 11, a mature devotee as a parent and superior. 12, a mature devotee as a wife and beloved. 13, an immature devotee as a servant. 14, an immature devotee as a friend. 15, an immature devotee as a father or superior. And 16, an immature devotee as a beloved. Similarly, under the heading of spontaneous devotion, there are also 16 various associates. Therefore, the total number of devotees under the headings of regulated devotees and spontaneous devotees is 32. So we can understand these are different relationships that we have with different devotees and how to relate to each other. Text 285. The word Atma refers to all different expansions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One of them is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, Krishna. And the others are different incarnations or expansions of Krishna. Purport. The word Atma also includes all kinds of personalities known as Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This means that Krishna has unlimited expansions. This is described in the Brahma Samhita, chapter 5, text 46. De parcha eva hita shantaram abhupetya dipayate virita hetu samana dharma yastadrigeva hisha vishnutaya vibhate govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. The expansions of Krishna are thus compared to candles that have been lit from an original candle. All the secondary candles are equally powerful, but the original candle is that from which all the others have been lit. Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he is expanded as Balaram, Sankarshan, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, and Vasudeva. In this way, there are innumerable incarnations and expansions who are also called Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Regarding the variety of personalities known as Bhagavan, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that the personality of Godhead known as Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that his expansions are also called the Personality of Godhead. In other words, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the origin of all other personalities of Godhead. Speculative philosophers and mystic yogis also meditate upon the form of Krishna, but this form is not the form of the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. Speculative philosophers and mystic yogis, such a Bhagavan is but a partial representation of the Lord's full potency. Nonetheless, he also has to be understood to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. To clarify this matter, one should simply understand that Krishna, the son of Mananda Maharaj in Vrindavan, the friend of the cowherd boys, and the lover of the gopis, is actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is attained by spontaneous love. Although his expansions are also called the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they are attained only by the execution of regulative devotional service. So this is what we're aspiring for, to be regularly engaged in the service of Shri Shri Radha Golokananda. Next, one who always engages in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is called Atmarama. There are two types of Atmarama. One is an Atmarama engaged in regulative devotional service, and the other is an Atmarama engaged in spontaneous devotional service. So we can understand that we're in the regulative devotional service, and some very rare souls are in the spontaneous platform. Both the Atmaramas engaged in regulative devotional service and those engaged in spontaneous devotional service are further categorized into four groups. There are eternal associates, the associates who have become perfect by devotional service, and those who are practicing devotional service, that's us, and are called sadhakas. So what are we called? Sadhakas, of whom there are two varieties. Those who are practicing devotional service are either mature or immature. Therefore, the sadhakas are of two types. Since the devotees execute either regular devotional service or spontaneous devotional service, and there are four groups within these two divisions, altogether there are 8 varieties. By executing regular devotional service, one is elevated to the platform of an eternally perfect associate, such as a servant, a friend, superior, or beloved woman. Each of these is of 4 varieties. Among those who have perfected themselves by devotional service, there are servants, friends, superiors, and beloved damsels. I don't know what that's about. But similarly, there are 4 types of mature devotees. Within the category of regular devotional service, there are also immature devotees. These are also of 4 varieties. Thus, in regulative devotional service, there are altogether 16 varieties. On the path of spontaneous devotional service, there are also 16 categories of devotees. Thus, there are 32 types of Atmaramas enjoying the Supreme Lord on these 2 paths. When these 32 types of devotees are qualified with the words Muni, Nirgranta, Cha, and Api, the meanings can be increased in different ways and very soundly elaborated upon. When we add the 26 types of devotees to these 32, they altogether number 58. You may now hear from me of further manifestations of meanings. Wow, lots of different types of devotees. In this way, as I add the word cha to one word after another, I make a compound. Thus, the different names of Atmaramas can be taken 58 times. In this way, one can repeat the word Atmarama with cha for each of the 58 meanings. By following the rule previously stated and rejecting all but the last, we retain that which represents all the meanings. Of words having the same form and case termination, the last one is the only one retained. Purport. This is a quotation from Pananini Sutra 1264. When all the chakaras, or additions of the word, are all taken away, 58 different meanings can still be understood by the one word, Atmarama. By the plural word, vriksha, which means trees, all trees, such as banyan trees, fig trees, kapita trees, and mango trees are indicated. The Atmarama verse is like the sentence, quote, in this forest many different fruits, very many different trees bear fruit. All Atmaramas render devotional service to Lord Krishna. After uttering the word Atmarama 58 times and taking cha in a sense of aggregation, one may add the word munaya. That will mean that great sages also render devotional service to Lord Krishna. In this way, there are 59 meanings. Then taking the word nigrantha and considering api in the sense of sustenance, I have tried to explain a 59th meaning of the verse. Taking all the words together, there is another meaning. Whether one is an Atmarama, a great sage, or a Nigrantha, everyone must engage in the service of the Lord. Purport. The word sarva samuchaya is significant here. It includes all classes of men, Atmaramas, Munis, and Nigrantas. Everyone must engage in the service of the Lord, taking the word api in the sense of ascertainment. There are altogether 60 different meanings. Whoa. Text 304. The word api is then used in the sense of ascertainment, and then the word eva can be uttered 4 times with 4 words. The words urukrama, bhakti, ahoitiki, and kurvanta are added to the word eva again and again. Thus, another meaning is explained. Now I have given 60 different meanings of the verse, and yet there is another meaning which is also very strongly evident. The word Atma also refers to the living entity who knows about his body. That is another symptom. From Lord Brahma down to the insignificant ant, everyone is counted as the marginal potency of the Lord. So we are in that category of marginal potency, which means we're in between material and spiritual. The potency of Lord Vishnu is summarized in 3 categories, namely the spiritual potency, the living entities, and ignorance. The spiritual potency is full of knowledge. The living entities, although belonging to the spiritual potency, are subject to bewilderment. And the third energy, which is full of ignorance, is always visible in fruitive activities. So we don't want to be engaged in fruitive activities. Purport. This is a quotation from the Vishnu Purana. For an explanation, see Adi Leela 7.119. Text 309. The word Kshetragya refers to the living entity, the enjoyer, the chief and material nature. This is a quotation from the Svarga Varga 7th chapter of the Amara Kosha Dictionary. Okay. Text 313. Srimad Bhagavatam on the whole. Srimad Bhagavatam, the spotless Purana, can be learned only through devotional service, not by material intelligence, speculative methods, or imaginary commentaries. So here Prabhupada is pointing out that by engaging in devotional service, by serving Shri Radha Golokananda, by serving the Vaishnavas, by engagement in devotional service, that's how we get spiritual upliftment and realization. Devotional service includes 9 processes, beginning with, which we're doing now today, every morning, hearing, chanting, and remembering the activities of Lord Vishnu. This is the proper way to start your day, to put Krishna. And I've heard once that Prabhupada said, if you go to Mongol Artik, that puts Krishna in your day, all day. Only one who has taken to devotional service can understand Srimad Bhagavatam, which, by the way, is the spotless Purana for a transcendentalist. That's Paramahansa. So-called commentaries are useless for this purpose. According to the Vedic injunction, Yasya deve para bhaktir yata deve tata goro, all Vedic literatures maintain that the Srimad Bhagavatam has to be learned by who? From the person Bhagavat. Who is that person Bhagavat? Srila Prabhupada. And that's why we're hearing from him. And to understand it, and to understand this knowledge, one has to also engage in devotional service. So it's not that we just come to the morning program, hear, chant, go to Guru Puja, but we also must engage our mind, body in the activities of serving Shri Radha Golokananda. Srimad Bhagavatam cannot be understood by so-called erudite scholars or grammarians. One who has developed pure Krishna consciousness and has served the pure devotee, Srila Prabhupada, the spiritual master, we all can understand Srimad Bhagavatam. Again, how can we understand devotional service? If one has served the pure devotee, the spiritual master, can understand Srimad Bhagavatam. Others cannot. Text 314. After hearing all the explanations of all the different meanings of the Atmarama verse, Sanatana Goswami was struck with wonder. He fell down at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and began to offer prayers. Sanatana Goswami said, "My dear Lord, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, the son of Maharaj Nanda. All the Vedic literatures are vibrated through your breathing. My dear Lord, you are the original speaker of the Bhagavatam, and therefore know its real import. For you, no one can understand, but for you, no one can understand the confidential meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam. Following the statement by Srila Sanatana Goswami, we have written our introduction to the Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, pages 1 through 41. So if you're very diligent and proactive, you can read the introduction to the Srimad Bhagavatam, pages 1 through 41. I'm going to take that on today. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, "Why are you glorifying me personally? You should understand the transcendental position of Srimad Bhagavatam. Why don't you consider this important point? Srimad Bhagavatam is as great as Krishna, the Supreme Lord and shelter of everything. In each and every verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, and in each and every syllable, there are various meanings." It's amazing. Text 319. The form of Srimad Bhagavatam is given in questions and answers. Thus, the conclusion is established. By hearing these questions and answers, one is highly astonished. Now that Sri Krishna, the absolute truth, the master of all mystic powers, has departed for his own abode, please tell us by whom religious principles are presently protected. Purport. This verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 1, Text 23, was a question raised by all the sages who were headed by Shaunaka. This question, put before the great devotee Sutta Goswami, is the foremost of the 6 questions raised. The answer to this very important question is given in the next verse, also from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 3, Text 34. After Lord Krishna departed for his own abode, along with religious principles and transcendental knowledge, this Purana, Srimad Bhagavatam, has arisen like the sun in this age of Kali to enlighten those who have no spiritual vision. That's why we have to distribute these books. In this way, like a madman, I have explained the meaning of just one verse. I do not know who will take this as evidence. If one becomes a madman like me, he may also understand the meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam by this process. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu plainly explains that Srimad Bhagavatam cannot be understood by those who are materially situated. In other words, one has to become a madman like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Apart from being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is an acharya who exhibited love of Godhead like a madman. According to his own written verse, Yugaitam Nimishena, he says that for him, a moment seems to be like 12 years or more. Chakshusha pravishayatam, my tears are flowing like torrents of rain. Shunyavitam jagat sarvam, I feel as if the entire universe were vacant. Why? Govinda virahena me, due to my being separated from Govinda Krishna. One can understand Srimad Bhagavatam only by following in the footsteps of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was mad for Krishna. We cannot, of course, imitate Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is not possible. However, unless, one is very serious about understanding Krishna, he cannot understand Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam gives the full narration of Krishna's transcendental activities. So we can see here all of you are serious, getting up, some of us at 3 o'clock, like Prabhuji here. And Srimad Bhagavatam gives the full narration of Krishna's transcendental activities. The first 9 cantos explain who Krishna is, and the Lord's birth and activities are narrated in the 10th canto. In the Bhagavad Gita it is stated, Janma karma chame divyam, a person who is eligible to return home back to Godhead, if he perfectly understands Krishna and his appearance and disappearance. This is verified by Krishna himself in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, text 9. Tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mam eti sarjuna. It is therefore concluded that one has to learn about Krishna from Srimad Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita and has to follow in the footsteps of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Those who do not follow Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu cannot understand the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Folding his hands, Sanatana Goswami said, My Lord, you ordered me to write a directory about the activities of the Vaishnavas. So this is a directory of the activities of the Vaishnavas. I am a most low-born person. I have no knowledge of good behavior. How is it possible for me to write authorized directions about Vaishnava activities? Purport. Actually, Sanatana Goswami belonged to a very, very respectable family. Nonetheless, he submitted himself as a fallen, low-born person because he had served in the Muslim government. A Brahmin is never supposed to engage in anyone's service. Serving others for a livelihood, paricharyatmakam karma, is the business of Sudras. The Brahmana is always independent and busy studying Shastra, yes, and preaching Shastra to who? Subordinate social members such as Kshatriyas and Vaishyas. Sanatana Goswami felt unfit to write Vaishnava Smriti about the behavior of Vaishnavas because he had fallen from the Brahminical position. Why did he fall? Because he was engaged in the service of Kshatriyas and Vaishyas. Thus, Sanatana Goswami clearly admits that the Brahminical culture should be standardized. Presently in India, so-called Brahmanas are almost all engaged in what? Some mundane service, and they do not understand the import of the Vedic Shastras. Nonetheless, they are passing themselves off as Brahmanas on the basis of birth. In this connection, Sanatana Goswami declares that a Brahmana cannot be engaged in anyone's service if he wants to take a leading part in society. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Narada Muni states that even if a Brahmana is in a difficult position, he should not accept the occupation of a Shudra. This means that he should not be engaged in service for another, for this is the business of dogs. That's pretty heavy. Under the circumstances, Sanatana Goswami felt very low because he had accepted a position of service in the Muslim government. The conclusion is that no one should claim to be a Brahmana simply by birthright while engaging in someone else's service. Text 326. Sanatana Goswami then requested the Lord, please personally tell me how I can write this difficult book about Vaishnava behavior. Please manifest yourself in my heart. The writing of Vaishnava literatures is not a function of an ordinary man. Vaishnava literatures are not mental concoctions. They are all authorized literatures meant to guide those who are going to be Vaishnavas. Under these circumstances, an ordinary man cannot give his own opinion. This opinion must always correspond with the conclusion of the Vedas. Unless one is fully qualified in Vaishnava behavior and authorized by the Supreme Authority, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one cannot write Vaishnava literatures or purports and commentaries on Srimad Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita. In this regards, I have to tell one story that I heard from Bhavananda Prabhu, who was told by Prabhupada that Krishna was encouraging Prabhupada to come down to the material world and start the Krishna conscious movement. Prabhupada was not so enlivened. And Krishna wanted him to write these books. Prabhupada and Krishna told him, don't worry, I will write the books. You can just take notes. You can write it down. If you, text 327, if you would please manifest yourself. So in this regards, the person who writes these books has to be authorized by Krishna. If you would please manifest yourself within my heart and personally direct me in writing this book, then although I am lowborn, I may hope to be able to write it. You can do this because you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead yourself, and whatever you direct is perfect. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, whatever you want to do, you will be able to do correctly. By whose favor? Lord Krishna's favor. He will manifest the real purport. Sanatana Goswami was a pure devotee of Krishna. A pure devotee has no business other than serving Krishna. Consequently, Krishna is always ready to help him. This benediction was given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sanatana Goswami, who was authorized to write Vaishnava Smriti. Sanatana Goswami was a pure devotee of the Lord, and through the blessings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was able to write this book perfectly. Because you asked me for a synopsis, please hear these few indications. In the beginning, describe how one must take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master. Text number, we're on 330. Your book should describe the characteristics of the bona fide guru and the bona fide disciple. Then, before accepting a spiritual master, one can be assured of the spiritual master's position. Similarly, the spiritual master can also be assured of the disciple's position. The Supreme Personality of Godhead should be described as the worshipable object, and you should describe the bija mantra for the worship of Krishna, as well as that for Ram or any other expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srila Prabhupada's purport. In the Padma Purana, the characteristics of the Guru, the bona fide spiritual master, have been described. Mahabhagavata Shrestho Brahmano Vaiguru Nirnam Sarvashameva Lokanam Aso Pujo Yata. Shri Radha Golokananda ki, Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki, Shri Vaishnav Sangha ki jai. Haribo. Time and tide wait for no man.
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Enam Kanvandam Aravindanalayataptam Varhavatam Samasitam Buddhasundarangam Kandar Agom Vikamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Angani Yasa Sakalen Priya Priti Manti Vasyanti Panti Kayanti Giram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami.
Hare Jaya Jaya Madhava Jayate. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Jayate. Gokula Taruni Mandala Mahite. Gokula Taruni Mandala Mahite. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Jayate. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Jayate. Damodara Rati Vadana Veshe Hari Niskyut Skuttabrin Davipineshe Rati Vadanaveshe Hari Skuttabrin Davipineshe Damodara Rati Vadanaveshe Hari Skuttabrin Davipineshe Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayate Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayate Vishabhanudadi Navashashileke Lalita Saki Guna Ramita Vishake Nudadi Navashashileke Lalita Saki Guna Ramita Vishabhanudadi Navashashileke Lalita Saki Guna Ramita Vishake Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayate Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayate Karunam Kurmai Karuna Bharite Sanaka Sanatana Vanita Charite Kurumai Karuna Varite Sanaka Sanatana Vanita Charite Karunam Kurumai Karuna Varite Sanaka Sanatana Vanita Charite Kurmai Karuna Varite Sanaka Sanatana Vanita Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayate Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayate Gokula Taruni Mandala Mahite Gokula Taruni Mandala Mahite Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayate Radhe Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayate Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radha Goloka Nanda Radha Goloka Nanda Shri Radhe Radha Goloka Nanda Radha Goloka Nanda Jaya Giri Govardhan Jaya Giri Govardhan Jaya Giri Govardhan Jaya Shri Vrindavan Dham Giri Govardhan Giri Govardhan Giri Govardhan Jaya Shri Vrindavan Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya 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 Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. O Radha, all glories unto you, all glories unto you, beloved of Madhava, object of worship for all the young girls of Gokula. You dress yourself in such a way as to increase Lord Damodar's love and attachment for you. You are the controller of Vrindavan, the pleasure groves of Lord Hari. You are a new moon arisen from the ocean of King Vrishabhanu. You are the friend of Lalita, and your wonderful qualities, friendliness, kindness, and faithfulness to Krishna endear you to Vishaka. You are an ocean of compassion, and your divine characteristics are described by the four Kumaras, Sanaka, Sanatana, Sananda, and Sanat Kumara. O Radha, please be merciful unto me. Srila Rupa Goswami ki jai. Cheto Darpanam Arjanam Bhavabhajavagni Nirvapanam Shreya Kairavya Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Pradipadam Purnam Niswadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Panam Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatra Nitami Amita Smadane Nakala Etadrasi Tavakripam Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaiva Midrishahi Ganina Nuraga Dvinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim Kavitam Jagadishakamaye Mama Janmani Janmanishvare Bhavatad Bhaktira Hituki Twai Ainandan Tanuja Kinkaram Patitamam Vishame Bhavambudo Vipaya Padman Pankajaja Stita Duri Sadristin Chintaya Nakinam Galujanaraya Marmar Gararya Gira Volakar Nichitam Babukadam Tamabhane Bhavishyati Yugayitam Nimeshena Chakshusha Pravishayitam Sunyayitam Jagat Sarvam Govinda Vidayename Ashli Shava Paramanamana Sumam Adarshamar Marga Karutova Yatatata Malamalampato Mapranas to Saevanapara.
Victory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement, benediction for, welcome back. And I've all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it engages holy, which we are always anxious. Oh, my Lord, congregational chanting of your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you've invested all your transcendental energies. They're not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. Oh, my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I want beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. Oh, Nanda, Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. Oh, my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up? When will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name? Oh, Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he's always my worshipful Lord unconditionally. Shri Shastra Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan today, 4 to 6 in Chapel Hill. We'll be at the post office on Franklin Street. It's going to be a perfect day for Harinam Sankirtan, so please come. And thank you, Mother Gopi, for dressing the deity so nicely. It's been a while, and we're really happy to see how nice Sri Sri Radha Golokananda look being taken care of by a gopi. And thank you for the cooks in the downstairs in the kitchen, and they're making a nice offering for the deities today. Haribo.